Okay, so Saburo the archipelago happens, and Luffy gets off the boat and he goes to a circus, a carousel, or he's just at a amusement park, and he's having fun with Hachan and Kami. Kami gets kidnapped by a slave catcher, and the slave catcher goes. So they do that, and they go to the slave auction. So basically, Luffy's one of the like pirates on the island that has one of the highest bounties out of these rookie pirates. You know, he's the second highest bounty. There's just one guy who's higher than him. That's Eustace Kid, and then the other people are actually like kind of powerful in their own right and other things. Like they've done things and other things. They're trying to basically all get to the new world and find the One Piece, and they're of the worst generation, is what they call these people. Um, and they all go to the fucking slave auction, and they see that Kami's being sold. So see, there's celestial dragons, people who wear like astronaut helmets, bubbles, basically bubbles are on their head, so they don't take in like the commoners air, because they are celestial dragons. They can't be breathing the same air as everybody else. you know and then things happen, and Kaylee gets caught, and but Rayleigh's also in the prison too, and he knocks out the guy who's like the slave, the guy who sells the slaves to the highest bidder, but he's still like up and at him, and then he tries to sell Kaylee, and then Papa Goo and Hachan's like, no, we have to save Kaylee and shit, and he tries to go down there to save her until the celestial dragon pulls out a gun and shoots him like boom, boom, boom. He's like, that's a dead octopus. That's St. Charles, that little bitch St. Charles. And then Luffy like pulled up on him, and like he tried to shoot Luffy, but he dodged it, and then he punched the fuck out of him, like almost put him in the hospital. Like that shit should have killed him, but I don't know how St. Charles is still alive, y'all. Like I personally don't know how the fuck he's still alive. Somebody likes him and shit. That's how somebody loves the guy. That's how. Cause that boy should have died after that. That's what I know. That boy should have died after that. But Kizaru came there and he started fighting against the worst generation. He made like work of Apu, Basil Hawkins, Oruge, and X Drake, and he had pacifista with him. So because a guy named Sentomaro knew of Vegapunk, and he knew of Vegapunk, and they were there in testing out the pacifistas against the worst generation, and they were proven to be valuable weapons for the government against these pirates and other things. As the Straw Hats had problems with one, and this was a pacifista, so they took pacifistas, and it was based off of the design of Vegapunk's trying to replicate Kuma, Bartholomew Kuma, and that's what they looked like. They all looked like Bartholomew Kuma, but the distinct difference was, instead of pad cannons on their hands, they had holes where they shoot laser beams out of them. Boom, boom. And Zoro was all fucked up. He couldn't help the crew out or anything because he still had like injuries from Kuma, like the real Kuma, like taking pain out of Luffy, and then him taking in all that pain. Like he had so much blood loss and all kind of stuff. He hadn't fully recovered and shit. And then Kizaru pulled up and like was gonna kill Zoro, and then Rayleigh came and was like, "Hey, I can help you guys out." He started like swinging his sword, and they started swinging swords at each other, and they're like, "Damn, you're still the Dark King Rayleigh, who was the right hand man of Gold Roger." And he's like, "Yep." And he's like, and then then Kuma came there, and he started flashing everybody away. They all got flashed away. All right, they all got flashed to different islands. Now Luffy was the last one to go, and he got flashed away to Amazon Lily. Amazon Lily, and when he got there, the bitches were like, this guy's a man. We can't let him be here. We have to cage him up and see what our princess wants to do. See, the leader of the Kuja pirates in the Kuja, women, from Amazon Lily was Pirate Empress Boa Hancock. See, she had the power of the love bug fruit. Anybody who desired her, loved her, turned to stone. But like Viceroy Ramonga was able to like suppress his like urges for love and desire by like cutting himself in the arm as he was feeling pain. So then he couldn't like feel those type of emotions because he was worried about his pain that he was feeling. So she was like, I won't be going to the no, I won't be going to the fucking Rainford to fight in that war. I have to go back to my homeland and shit. You guys can't like tell me what to do and everything. I'm gonna not be there. Other people don't go, so I won't go either. And then, you know, she got back to the island and she saw Luffy and she's like, "Oh my gosh, this is a man. We need to like try him and like kill him." Her sisters were there and they were like, "Okay, let's fight this guy." And they were fighting against Luffy and they were actually showing him some shit. See, they had observation hockey, armament hockey. All these bitches had like armament hockey or observation hockey or both. And then Bo Hancock had all three of them. She had like observation hockey, um, armament hockey, and she also had observation hockey. This girl. And then she ended up falling in love with Luffy because Luffy ended up using Conqueror's hockey against the Snake Princesses. Her sisters, that he was fighting in the arena. Margaret, a blonde haired bitch, who was one of them. She liked Luffy and other things. She was like, "Oh, I don't think Luffy should go. He's kind of cute and stuff. I don't want him to leave." But she turned to stone because Bo Hancock was like, "Yeah, you can't fall in love with a man. That goes against our things." But then Bo Hancock saw Luffy's conquer hockey and she was like, "Oh, whoa!" And she started falling for him too. And she was like, "I like this guy. We don't need to kill him and stuff. Let him like come, and stay with me for a little bit." And he's like, "Really? I get to eat and other stuff? That's cool. You girls are like turning cool now. That's exactly how you're supposed to be, turning cool and like helping me out. Not trying to like kill niggas and stuff. That's fine. You can help me out instead." And and he was like, "Huh?" And they are all like, my targets are only like the people that I like. I know who they are. There's no specific targets there are. See, like if you're in, oh my god. So those girls were there on Amazon. Lily and Luffy was like, "Okay, um, I'm here and I'm eating and stuff." But then word got out to Luffy that Firefist Ace was gonna get executed at Marineford. The old one came and she was like, "No, no, 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 no. Guess what? Firefist Ace has been kidnapped, or not kidnapped, but caught, and he's gonna be tried and executed at Marineford, and Whitebeard's gonna be there, and you have to be there as the Pirate Empress, so you can hold down as like one of the warlords of the sea, so you don't lose your positioning with the world government. See, because she was one of the privateers working for the world government as a pirate, you know." She gets immunity and other stuff from being a pirate as long as she like helps them out when they call for the seven warlords to come. And she was called to help during the Paramount War, the War of the Best, Marineford War. She needed to be there for that, and she was like, "I'll go, and I'll go because Luffy wants to save his brother, and I can get him into Impel Down." See, Ace was at Impel Down in holding until his day of execution, and they like moved the date forward and shit because they had figured out some shit about him. Not just that he was, Whitebeard's underling, one of his, guys, one of his commanders, but he was the son of Goldie Roger, and they wanted to like make sure that that guy died. That being Porcus D Ace, and Luffy goes into Impel Down then, and he finds Buggy. Buggy's in there, and instead of like fighting against one another, they end up making an alliance and going down to the next level where they meet Goldino, and Goldino's down there, and they keep running, and then they find Mr. Two. Mr. Two's down there, and he's trying to help Luffy out. They get down to level 4, and that's where it's like hot. Once they get down there, though, Magellan has caught wind of what the fuck's going on. Ace was already getting transferred to Marineford. And they were like, "Damn, Luffy didn't get there in time." Luffy was like, "Damn, and it sucked because Magellan was there too, and he had to fight against Magellan. And Magellan had the advantage, home field advantage, but not just that. But his Devil Fruit was the venom fruit, poisoned Luffy and like fucked him up. Like he was like covered in like venom. Um, Bon Clay saved him and got him to Emporio Ivankov. Emporio Ivankov was like, "I'm running a place in like the fifth or sixth level, and people who are like free but not free, they're still like in the prison, but like they're like it's its own secret part of the prison that like nobody knows about but him." And he's like, yeah, I'll heal Luffy. I'll give him the hormones he needs. And he shot him up with hormones. And he's like, now I'm cool and I can go like save, Ace. But when he got down there, he found out from Jinbei that he got transferred to Marineford. So like Luffy was like, now we have to hurry up and get to the top, like go back up to where we came. And he had all the people with him, like I said, Buggy, Goldino, Mister Three, Mister Two. He had Emporio Vankov and one of the other guys who was like one of those queer people. And then he had Jinbei. He had Jinbei and he had Crocodile too. Crocodile was down there at the low level too. And he got down there, and then Blackbeard showed up, or well, he was showing up, and then um, he had to fight against Hannibal. Hannibal is the vice warden of Impel Down. He was trying to hold down, but Luffy smashed his fucking head in the ground. He even tried to pull out fire on Luffy, and Luffy was like, "Man, I don't got time for this bitch," and he like got him out of there. And he's like, we have to run and get to where Ace is before he gets his head chopped out at Marineford. So they started running and stuff, and Blackbeard showed up. Blackbeard's like, "Yo, I'm the one who caught your brother. That's how I became one of the seven warlords, man. You know, I was trying to get you, but then your brother was like, doing all this stuff. He was trying to hunt my dick, so I was like, maybe I'll hunt yours instead. And then, get the position of warlord and other things. See, I have plans to become king of the pirates, and nobody's gonna get in my way." And Luffy's like, "You're the one who did that to my brother," and he's like, "Yeah." And then, Luffy punched him, and Blackbeard smashed Luffy's head into the ground, and they were gonna fight. But Jinbei was like, "Hey, you can't fuck around with this guy. We have to get to Marineford before Luffy's head, Ace's head rolls." He says, "Hey, we have to go." And Luffy was like, "All right, let's go." And then they left, and then they got to the Marineford. By that time, Aokiji had froze the water. Like Whitebeard had got there, and like they were already like Whitebeard got there first, and they were fighting against and they are having stands. So Mihawk shot some. See that Whitebeard Jozu threw that shit up in the sky, like a wave of like energy, and Jozu got rid of that, and then Marco the Phoenix pulled up on Kizaru, who was trying to like use Yata mirror and shoot light beams down at Whitebeard, but he like hit that shit. He allowed the beams to hit him because he's the Phoenix, so like he catches recoup, and he's like, I'm still here, you can't stop. And he was like, that's cool or whatever. Then Akahino tried to send shit down, and Akahino was doing actually damage. And then there was Oars and all this other shit. Oars got his leg cut off and other things. Luffy got there, and when Luffy got there, he found Whitebeard, and he was like, "I'm gonna save my brother." And Whitebeard was like, "You can't be here. This ain't a place for a brat." But then Luffy said to Toes, and he was like, "That's my brother. I'm gonna stay here. I can't reason with this brat. I guess he's here. But don't die out there." And then Luffy was like, "Okay, whatever. I have to save my brother." And he was running. And then like Mihawk tried to like cut him, and Luffy used like observation hockey and like saw that Mihawk could have cut his arms off, and he was like, psh, he dodged that shit, and then Buggy like stood on that shit because he's like he can't be cut, so like Buggy was there. Then Kuma tried to like step on Luffy's dick, and go after him. At this point, Kuma was like a complete robot. Like he did whatever anybody told him to. He had no mind for his own and shit, and he was like, and Emporio Vankov had to step forward and like fight that. Then Luffy was running up to like the like platform and shit, and then um, people got in his way. Um, the admirals. He was like, "Okay, I'll stand on the admirals." Like all three of them were standing in front of him, and he was like, "I don't care. I have to get to my brother." And then he got kicked away by Kizaru, and then he was like, they were gonna chop his head off, and then he was like, "No." He hit Conqueror's Hockey, and then they had to get new people up there to like try to chop Ace's head off at the right time. And then the Whitebeard pirates got through because Oars like pushed them through the wall, and then they got through. And then Whitebeard was fighting against like the admirals and other things. And Luffy was like running around trying to get keys for Ace. Got up the fucking platform into the platform, and Goldino was with him. He made a key so he could free Ace. He freed Ace, and they were free. They were good. Now that Ace was free, they could get out of there, and they could like live to see another day. Is what should have happened, but tragedy struck. So Ace and Luffy were fighting against the Marines, and it was cool. Like they were handling shit. Even like Aokiji pulled up on Ace, and Ace like took care of that. But then Akahino showed up, and he started running his mouth. He was like, "Yo, you're working for a weak ass old man who's like a fossil and other things." Your pirate captain's weak. Whitebeard's like no different than Goldie Roger, a weak ass pirate. And then Ace was like, huh, what are you talking about? That's my pops. That's my, guy. That's who I like rock with. I am a Whitebeard pirate. I'm not going to like stand for shit like that. But, they were like, yo, don't fight that guy. Don't do it. He was like, I don't care. I have to stand on this business. And he was like, okay, and they fought. And then, he proved that, well, Akahina proved that his magma was stronger than Ace's. But even so, Luffy was like, caught in the smoke, and he was like, I can't see where the paper's at because he was looking for Ace's paper, his Vega card, and it's attached to like Life Force too, so the paper was burning away slowly but surely, and Ace was like, I have to save my brother, and then he died with a hole in his chest, because Akahina like punched him in the chest and like killed him. Um, Ace didn't like think to do like hockey moves or anything. He just knew that he had to save Luffy. Ace knew that he had to save Luffy, and he got in the way and he saved Luffy. But Luffy died, and well, he didn't die. Oh no, he passed out because of the shock. His brother died right in front of him, and he couldn't do shit about it. And like he just like he passed the fuck out. He like went to sleep. And then Jinbei was like, they were like, save Luffy. He's gonna be the one to like do some stuff one day. We couldn't save Ace, but we can save his little brother Luffy. And let's go get that. Let's save Luffy and get him out of here. And Jinbei came and he like held down on Akahina's like magma fist. And then Marco the Phoenix came there and was like, let's go and take him to the ship. Trafalgar Law was out there at the sea, and they were like, we have to get him over there. And Akahino was hunting that dick hard. He was like, if I could kill Gold Rider's son, I can also kill, Dragon's son. And he was like, yeah. But then Crocodile pulled up and cut him in half, like, psst. And then he's like, get Luffy to the ship and shit. If you're gonna save somebody, you gotta do it right. Yeah. He was like, he got onto the ship. And they got Luffy out of there, and then Shanks pulled up to Marineford and like said, this shit has to end, the world saw this shit on camera, and you already took down Whitebeard and Ace. There's no need for that extra stuff. Blackbeard was there too. Blackbeard came there and he took Whitebeard's Zell fruit, and basically he took Whitebeard's spot as one of the four emperors of the sea because he had two devil fruits. Like this shit was never seen before by anybody. This guy is doing shit that other people have never done. He consumed two devil fruits and he has two devil fruit powers. Whitebeard's devil fruit, and he has a devil fruit that can like negate all of the devil fruit users' abilities. So they were like, this guy's a real fucking threat now. And Shanks knew about Blackbeard, and he was like, they kind of had a standoff, and they were like, we shouldn't fight today. We'll fight another day. And Blackbeard left, and everybody went their separate ways. But Luffy was, at Amazon Lily, he was upset because Ace died, and he felt like he should have done something better, or he could have done something better, and all this other stuff. And Jinbei was like, no, it's, you have other things to live for. You were like going to be king of the pirates. Who the fuck is still out there for you? You have shit to live for still, Luffy. And he said, that's my crew. And he was like, I have to get stronger, and, my crew has to get stronger. So he went back to Marineford and he rung the bell, and he had a code written on his arm, and it said, um, 3D with it crossed out, and then 2Y. So basically, they ain't gonna meet each other at Sabaody in 3 days, but in 2 years, so they can train and become stronger. So they did that, and Luffy trained with Silver Israeli for 2 years to like learn hockey and how to like do it, observation hockey, armament hockey, and conquerors hockey. He did that. Then he returned to Sabaody Archipelago. And he was there. So Luffy came and he went in and he was like, okay, these people are acting like they're my crew. Like, man, you just fucking around too much. He like knocked them out and shit with hockey. And then like his crew members were there, but they were like other places and other shit. People like went to Rayleigh. Like Zoro went to Rayleigh, and he was actually the first one to the archipelago. Luffy pulled up. Luffy pulled up. Sentinel was there with the like pacifistas, and everybody else was like at the ship. And Luffy was like, you dodging those pacifista like light rays, like observation hockey and then armament hockey. He defeated a pacifista with like one hit. After the time skip, Luffy showcases like real power a little bit, just some of it. just a little bit of something, and he was like, it was known that they were ready to like take on the new world, the second half of the Grand Line, and go through the Red Line and go, the rest of the journey. And so they did that, and they went to Fishman Island. So they got the boat coated by Rayleigh, and then they went down to Fishman Island. When they got down there was some problems. See, there was a guy who was trying to revive the new Fishman Pirates. A guy named Hoodie Jones. He hated humans, much like Arlen, but he took it to an extreme level. He would kill even other fishermen who didn't want to like. He calls to his rules. So basically, he's like, we need to kill human beings and then rule over, humans. And if you get in my way, I'll kill you too. And he tried to assert the throne from fucking King Neptune. King Neptune had a daughter named Shirahoshi. See, Shirahoshi is one of the ancient weapons, Poseidon. So she's able to like call for the animals of the sea and like control them with her like screams and cries and other things. It's what she can do. Luffy was like, you want to get out of here, girl? And she was like, yes, but I'm scared that, no. And he was like, no, don't be scared, come with me. And he got her out of the place, right? But then, she got kidnapped by the Fishman Pirates, and then he had to go stand on business and save that princess, as he always does. And Luffy, he took down 50,000 fishermen with his conqueror's hockey, like put him to sleep. And then, then he had to fight against Horty Jones. See, Horty Jones he does drugs. Like, he takes steroid pill and other shit. And Luffy's like, I hate like natural stuff. I hate my devil fruit, which I ate when I was a kid. It's like, cool. And I like wear your ass out. And he was doing that. Like the guy was on steroids though, so he had to like he had to keep hitting this guy. Boom, 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 like weak ass animal. Boom, 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 knocking this bitch the fuck down, giving him the what for, and like smashing him into the fucking boat. Smashing him down into the boat, and he was all fucked up. But when he came down, his crew had, stood 10 toes on all of the other members of the new Fisherman Pirates. Zoro had to cut some arms off of an octopus guy. Um, Brooke and Aeronaut slashed some bitches. And Nico Robin used some legs. Like she turned like her hands into legs and like destroyed a whole bunch of people. Climb attack from Robin, or not Robin, but Nami. Like all of them didn't know what they had to do. Sanji fought this big ass like I don't even know what the fuck that guy is. Like some like big baby thingy. Like I don't know what that is. But Sanji was able to like kick the shit out of it and like knock him the fuck out. And Luffy lost a lot of blood during that fight with Horty Jones because Horty Jones was biting him and shit, and he was like, "Oh fuck," and Jinbei was like, "Here, I'll give you some of my blood, gladly help you out, because you helped me out." And Luffy was like, "Oh, that's cool," And Jinbei was like, "I have to figure some shit out, but one day, I'd like to, be along for the ride." And he was like, I have full faith in you, Luffy, and other things. And hopefully the rest of your journey goes good. So then they go to Punk Hazard. So they get to Punk Hazard, and Luffy's like, oh shit, this island's like half hot, half cold. See, because Akahino and Aokiji had fought on that island, and they reshaped the like climates of the island. So half the island was lava and magma, and the other half was ice, and it was like hot, half cold. And like they got on the cold side. Oh wait, they got off on the hot side, and they walked into the cold side. They found a head that was, that was Kinemon, Foxfire Kinemon. He was like, I have three, I have my torso and my like legs, and over there, Trafalgar Law was on the island. That's why, he was cut in half, or like into three pieces. Um, and then he was like, we have to find Momonosuke. Momonosuke is my son. I need to find my son. That's what he told Luffy, and Luffy was like, okay, we'll find your son. We went in like they went and did that shit. And then he found Traffy. He was like, "Yo, Traffy, I remember you from the worst generation and stuff. What's going on and shit." And he was like, "Yo, I heard that you were like powerful and shit. Now you have a bounty of 400 million. Mine's is 440 million. I said, cool. We can run shit with like the emperors and take them down. What does that sound like? We can ally the hard pirates and the try hard pirates and say, cool, and take this shit down. And he's like, all right, yeah. Show them what the fuck's going on and stuff. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, cool. Um, and he did that, and he's like, all right. They did that, and then he did that, and then he had a fight against the Yeti Cool brothers. The Yeti Cool brothers were fucking around. And Luffy took them down. But then Caesar Clown came there. Caesar Clown was the one doing research there. He was doing research on kids. He was like feeding them drugs and shit, and like making them addicted to candy. They were like, this is fucked up. He needs to like get what he deserves, which is an ass whooping. And like, really, he needs to die because he's like fucking with kids and their lives and shit, and like stealing them, like so that he could do research on them and stuff. And then Kinemon was like, also like he had to, or not Kinemon. Momonosuke ate a devil fruit that was a makeshift devil fruit. The fish fruit model, actual dragon, but it was like a clone of that actual fruit, and he ate it, and he became a dragon. And Luffy's like, cool, this guy's cool. But Caesar Clown came there, and he was fighting against Luffy. Luffy was able to hit Logia users out there, time skip, because he has armament hockey, so now he can fucking touch these people who are Logia users. And he was punching, Caesar Clown. Caesar Clown was like, damn, I'll take away his like air, his oxygen, and he knocked him out. Him, Nika Robin, and Law. So they were all knocked out. They got taken in, and Virgo's there. Virgo's a vice admiral, but not really. He works for Joker, which is Doflamingo. He come to see how the devil fruit and other things were being cool, because they'll be transported to Kaido and other things, and see that's why he's Joker. See, Doflamingo is working with Kaido so he can get the artificial devil fruits to him and other stuff. Just Kaido wanted to make a group of like devil fruit users. He didn't care that they were like artificial devil fruits. Like this whole crew will become full of fucking devil fruit users. And the research on making these artificial devil fruits were like not complete, and other things they had to like do research and other shit. So that's what they were doing over there in Punk Hazard, and that's like fine. Niggas will fucking eat these devil fruits and like get the powers and like rule the world with shit like this. That's what Kaido's plan was, and like Doflamingo was like a supplier of these devil fruits because he had like Caesar Clown doing shit here, and then he had his own place on Dressrosa. He had another factory over there, like where that was the sad. And then the Smile factory was in oh fuck, was it? It was either one way or the other, but there was smiles and there was sads. And Luffy then got out of the cage and he went to go find Caesar Clown. He ended up beating Caesar Clown's ass. It wasn't that hard to fight or anything. Like I don't even have it in the top 10, y'all. Luffy handled that business easily, for the most part, and it was it was like low diff, and 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 that happened. So um after that happened, and see, I do like to play deceptive acts with you because you play games too much, things like that. But that was somebody else. Somebody was like fucking around and stuff. That's all that was, y'all. That's the truth. Um, you gotta like know who this guy is. So Luffy, like Trafalgar Law defeated Virgo, and after he got his heart back from Virgo, he did it easily. Cut him right in half and cut the he destroyed the factory, the small factory, the sad factory. I don't remember which one. But it was cool. And Luffy, then they got out of there. They left. Doflamingo came there and he tried to like do shit to Smoker, but then Aokiji stopped him, and then he went back to Dressrosa. See, then Dressrosa starts. They get to Dressrosa, and that's a kingdom that's ruled by Doflamingo. There's toys running around. See, these toys used to be humans, but then they got turned into toys, and then the people in their lives forgot about them. And they're like, "Yo, I'm your brother. I'm your husband. I'm your wife. These toys are talking to people, and they're like, huh? Who are you? I don't know what the fuck that is. That's some toy talking." And that's Doflamingo. That's one way Doflamingo fucks with the people in Dressrosa, but he also like enslaves them and has them fight in the Coliseum. And then like if they don't die, he abuses them and like drowns them in water and other shit. He gets amusement from people's torment. See, you gotta understand this about Dofi. Dofi was a celestial dragon, so like he came from the holy land of Marijua and then down to like where the commoners were, and he didn't like living amongst the commoners. He knows of his like blood and heritage, and he's like, I'll take what's mine. And Doflamingo was there, and Luffy was like, I have to beat down, I have to fuck Dofi up. Yeah, he's playing games with these people. First, I gotta get the stealth fruit because he's playing games with my dick too. As Luffy had cause to go after the devil fruit. The devil fruit in question was the flame fruit. Ace's devil fruit. It had like remanifested in other things. It like regrew in other things, and he's like the winner of the tournament gets this devil fruit, and a whole bunch of people were there. Bartolomeo knew a pirate who actually likes Luffy and like rides his dick and his dick ride for Luffy. Then Cavendish was there, and Don't you Jiao and Luffy fought inside of the tournament. And he was like, Garp, fucked my head up. He like I used to be Dongjin Jiao the drill. He had a spike on his head, but then like he punched like Garp punched him and like it went inside of him. And he was just like it wasn't there no more. But Luffy was able to like set his head back right, and he was like he had a sharp pointy head again. After Luffy defeated him and shit, and it was cool because Dojin Jiao had hockey, conquers hockey. They were able to like in their block that Luffy won that. And after he won that block, Sabo came in. Sabo was like, "Yo, I'm here, Luffy. I didn't die." And he's like, "Oh shit, Sabo, I thought you died a long time ago. You know what happened to Ace?" And he's like, "Yes, it's sad, but his devil fruit's still with us. I'll eat the devil fruit and do right by him." And he was like, "I trust you, brother. You go do that, and I'll go do other things." Um, and then he saw Traffy getting shot by Doflamingo, and he was like, "Oh fuck, I have to go kick your ass. Get out of here." And then Zoro was there, and Zoro was like trying to touch Doflamingo, but then Fujitora was there and put him in the ground. See, Fujitora is an admiral that was sent there. Um, he he's the new admiral. One of the newer ones. I thought Kitty needed replaced by somebody, and he was one of the princes. Um, and then Akainu got promoted, and there was another new admiral as well. So then Luffy's running around Dressrosa. Um, Doflamingo's like, everybody's finding out about me and other things. I'm not even a warlord. Because like during this time they abolished the warlord system, and now they were now labeled pirates anyways. And he was like, these people ain't gonna eat cost me no more and other stuff. Um, I might as well just kill everybody in this place. People are like, knowing that I've done things and been, doing things, so I'll just rule over what's left. He was being crazy and shit. He got like he turned a birdcage and like trying to destroy Dressrosa. Um, and then people had to like stop the birdcage from moving and other stuff, which was like a hard fucking thing to do. But they were doing it. They were trying to, um, and fuck, they were doing it in Doflamingo was waiting for Luffy and Law to show up, and Luffy and Law did show up. After Admiral Fujitora was gonna like touch Luffy, but then Sabo came there and was like, "Yo, you go. I'll handle this guy." And then Pika tried to find Luffy, but then Zoro was like, "I'll handle that." And then Luffy got up there, and Law was like, "I fought against this guy earlier. We can take him on together." And Luffy's like, "Okay, we'll run that shit." And they had decent teamwork. But Doflamingo knew that, so he planned accordingly. He said, I'll like I'll send fucking Bellamy after Luffy, and then I'll fight against Law, and that's what they were doing. Uh, and then he was fighting against Law, and they're fighting each other, and Luffy was fighting against Bellamy. Bellamy the hyena, the guy he fought back in Mocktown. And he was a like loyal dick rider to Doflamingo. He was like, I'm sorry, but Straw Hat, I have to serve Doflamingo. Luffy was like, no, you don't have to do that shit. And he was like, no, I have to. You know, that's who I want to ride for. And he was like, God damn it, you don't have to do that. He treats you like shit. Boom, smashed his head into the ground, and Bellamy was like, knocked the fuck out after that. Then he got up there, and that's when they hit that good combination. See, Law used Rumen and Shambles, and then Luffy used Gum Gum Red Hawk on Doflamingo, and then Law hit him with uh, uh, Shock Wooly, I think, into the chest. He was like, psst, and he was like fucked up for a little bit. And they were like, oh, he might be done, but he wasn't done. And Trouble was there too. One of Doflamingo's like guys, he wore the club. And he was like, God damn. And then there was Diamante, and like he was getting fought by Kuros. And Zoro was fighting Pika, and who the fuck else was there? There was somebody else. But like a whole bunch of Doflamingo pirates were like getting defeated as they were fighting against Doflamingo. But then Doflamingo like he stitched his like organs back together because he has the string fruit, and he's like able to be creative with it as he knew about awakenings and shit too. So, then he made a string puppet or a string um, clone. Luffy had to fight against that clone, and he like separated him from Law again. This time Law lost his arm, and then he was like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna die just like Corazon." See, Corazon was Doflamingo's little brother that he killed back in the day, because he wanted to help Law out, and Law was supposed to be used for Doflamingo's purposes. He wanted to save Law and see Law do better things with his life. Not die of a sickness or anything. He gave him the devil fruit to eat, that being the apot fruit. Doflamingo wanted the fruit for many reasons, so that he could become immortal. He knew about that, but he also knew that Law was an asset to him. He wanted him to serve him and other things, but he had a closer relationship with Corazon. And then Doflamingo ended up fighting against Luffy, and then that's when Luffy's true power came out. See, Luffy up until that point was not using his full power. He was like not even half-assing it, but like he didn't have to do Gear Force Bounce Man. So he had to open that up against Doflamingo. And he opened that up, and then Doflamingo used his awakening, starting to turn shit around him into strings. Like everything turned into strings. And he came after Luffy in Gear Force. And in Gear 4, Luffy was doing damage to Doflamingo, but he was on a time limit, 10 minutes. Then he had to wait 10 minutes for his hockey to return. So during that time, he was like, he was got. The announcer was like, Lucy is fighting for us. That is Straw Hat Luffy. He was fighting for us in Dressrosa, so we can stop this birdcage from like killing all of us and all this extra stuff. We need him to like recoup and other things, so he can get back to fighting Doflamingo. And he was like, and they were like running around, and then Jesus Burgess was there to try to get the devil fruit, a devil fruit for Blackbeard and stuff. And he was like, yeah, I'm here to like touch Luffy and grab his devil fruit, but then Sabo was there like, come on, man, you can't touch my brother like that. He got him out of there like. And he got there, and he went. After he went there, and Luffy was like, "Okay, I'm back up, and then I can use Gear 4." And he started fighting against Doflamingo. He went way the fuck up to the top of the birdcage, and he used King Kong gun, King Kong bazooka, and he like put him down. He sent him down to the ground, and then he put him way in the ground, like into the ground, like deep. He also broke Doflamingo's glasses. That shit's never happened before. It never showed what his eyes looked like, but he got a new pair of glasses as he got chained up and then sent to impel down. But Luffy had to fight against Fujitora after that, and they were like, he started a whole alliance of pirates. The giants of Hajurin and fucking Leo, the not the Ming, but the he's a Tontada. And then Bartolomeo, who's a dick rider who runs the Barto Club, and then Cavendish of the White Horse, and Sai. He is of the Hapo Navy. That's what Dojin Jao rules over, the Hapo Navy. And they were all like, okay, we swear allegiance to you, Shah Luffy, for freeing Dressrosa and helping us get out of here too with our lives. And then they were like, cool. And Fujitora tried to drop trash on him, and he was like, no, I'll fight against you now. I can handle you. And, they were fighting for a little bit, and they had to get out of there. So they had to meet up with the rest of the crew. So, see, during Dressrosa arc, Sanji, Nami, and Brooke had to get away. And Momonosuke and Chopper, they got away. They got to another island, Zoe. That was the next island they had to be at, and they were there. So what happened there was, like, two things happened. So Jack came there, and Jack is part of the Beast Pirates, Kaido's and army, and he's one of the guys there, and he was looking for Raizo, one of the people who was, a Akazaya samurai from Wano. He was gonna kill him and other things, but he wasn't there. Well, he was there, but the minks were like, we ain't telling you where he's at all. He don't belong here. We are minks. See, these are people who are animals. These are animals. And in Raizo, you're saying that he's a samurai. He ain't here. We are animals. That's not here. Like they had to like tell this motherfucker that, and then like they had to like defend their shit because people were like seeking their dick too hard. And they tried to, but he was too powerful, and they got like fucked up. Then he like gassed them out, and they were like poisoned and stuff. But then they Straw Hats got there. That would be Sanji and all them, like in like Nami and Chopper and Brooke, and they got there and they saw all this shit, and they're like, oh fuck, But then another thing happened. Big Mom said Peckums, but not just Peckums, sent Capone Veggie, and Capone Veggie was there, and he was like, yo, you have to marry Pudding, Charlotte Pudding, in a marriage to bring together the Vince Smokes and the Charlotte family, so that you two can like be together, and your families can work together to like help take over the seas. And he's like, I haven't seen my family in years. That's just crazy. They want me to do that. And Big Mom, either that or we wipe your crew out. And he said, what? I'll go with you then. It's just a marriage and other things. And, you can like stand to be without me for a little bit. I'm just your cook. And he was like, all right, I'll go with y'all. And he went with them, and he said, cool. So Luffy got there, and Luffy got there, he found out that, Raizo and Momonosuke and Kinemona from Wano, but Momonosuke is the son of Odin, who was supposed to be the shogun of Wano, but died a long time ago. And those guys are actually Momonosuke's retainers. Basically, Kinemona ain't Momonosuke's father, but they're just his retainers, and they're supposed to make him shogun of Wano. But Kaido's on the throne and stuff there. Fucking Korozume Orochi's actually, and Kaido's like protecting him as an emperor and other things, so he can fuck around and run around there, doing all his fucked up shit that he does, like turning it into a like pirate haven for himself, as he is an emperor. See, so that's what he did. And then they're like, yo, we have this pony lift. That's one of the Rolo pony lifts to get you to Laughtail. And they're like, cool, we got this pony lift, and we'll get extra things away. And it's like, cool. So then Zoro, Robin, and Brooke hopped on the boat. Or no, who else did? Yeah. And they hopped on a boat to get to, and Law was with them too. They went to Wano, and then everybody else went to Whole Cake Island. The Whole Cake Island is, another thing. I'll get that in the next video.